女士们、先生们. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity to speak at the China-New Zealand Trade and Digital Media Forum, and also thank you for Stylecom for hosting and organizing this event. Now, our China project is a relatively new venture within Woolworths business, and it's fair to say that it's been a steep learning curve for me while I've been in this role so far. The Woolworths New Zealand China exports business has evolved quite rapidly over the years. In mid-2017, we initially started off by doing local bulk wholesale for baby formula and groceries via sea freight to China. Then a few months later, we identified small and large Daigou in New Zealand for drop shipping via a fully transactional website. In early 2018, we entered into a strategic partnership with our China trade partner. We made sure that we did complete due diligence on them before signing them up. They've also introduced us to a lot of Chinese-based customers to drive sales. In September-October 2018, we established a strong online brand presence through the setup of the Countdown flagship store on JD. In November 2018, Woolworths Group had strong participation at the CIRE event in Shanghai, which led to new agreements being signed with a few B2B wholesale customers in China. Beginning of this year saw the introduction of our own brand range on JD for cross-border e-commerce as well as general trade. Some of these include coconut oil, milk powder, organic honey, and wheat biscuits. To date, we've done well to optimize the simplicity, the compliance, working closely with our suppliers and achieving steady growth in sales and profits. Woolworths is serious about its export ambitions for China and will continue to build for our future. The Countdown flagship store on JD. Now, as I said earlier, Countdown opened a flagship store on JD last year, carrying over 140 to 150 products across 9 product categories. We're currently a Tier 1 retailer on JD in terms of brand value, and are aiming to reach a wider customer base through the strategic partnership with JD. We're currently preparing for the big 618 shopping festival, as you all know. Last year, JD generated about, RMB 160 billion in sales during this festival. Some brands that are growing in popularity are Nestlé's infant range, including Illuma, also Anchor milk powder, Swiss, and Pink Salt, among others. Average monthly sales and page views have been steadily increasing, as you can see, 26%, greater than 45,000 page views per week. And I'm hoping to see record levels in June during that 618 festival. JD supply chain. So suppliers send their goods directly to our logistics partner's warehouse here in Auckland. Goods are then sea freighted to JD's warehouse in Ningbo, where JD manages the supply chain and the customs process. Once the customer orders and pays for the goods online, the goods are picked and packed, goes through customs clearance, and delivered to the end customer via the last mile operator. A bit more about our JD experience. The investment to build a Countdown flagship store to create awareness of our brand and products seemed quite hefty initially. Along the way, we are required to invest more as a percentage of sales for marketing, media planning, and social media channels for sales promotions. On top of that, we had your JD commission, your freight costs, warehousing costs. But what we did have was extensive reach and also strong support from the JD team and also our trade partner in China. E-commerce platforms are certainly an option for any business trying to penetrate the Chinese e-commerce market. But there could be other more cost-effective ways to do this too. For example, you could build your own channel with back-end logistics to manage the e-commerce sales. That's another way to also look at the Chinese market. We also discovered that consumer research and data analytics are also key to understanding growing demand for products, especially in our industry. We need to dive deeper into the data to better understand segmentation, better understand shopping behavior, and also our category performance. Understanding consumer trends was initially a test and learn experience for us, but after several trips to China, face-to-face meeting with strategic partners, we gained more insights into the perception of New Zealand as a brand. And when we then did the sourcing, we sourced products that actually fit that perception. Okay, so we are still in the growth phase and continue to refine our operating model. And there's much more to do in terms of reaching a sustainable growth level. But here are a few things that have enabled us to achieve some success today. Number one, strong relationships with brand owners and suppliers. So it's important that we understand brand owner strategies, their requirements for cross-border and general trade exports. Alignment of our strategies, sharing of information, being transparent on customer data, examples like that, will certainly help in obtaining steady supply of goods and allocation from the suppliers. Number two, trusted and reputable brand, sourcing high-quality products in Australia and New Zealand. So our brand value and strength in doing business here, combined with New Zealand and Australia's reputation for natural, high-quality products in China, certainly that means that the products that we export resonate quite strongly for end consumers in China. Note that several of our brand owners have their own sites on JD and Tmall. But selling their products via our JD store opens up another channel to market. End-to-end supply chain management. This can only be successful if you're able to work with the right logistics partners. We have multiple logistics partners based on customer and supplier preferences, and these partners have compatible ERP systems for stock monitoring. Our trade partner also manages the China side logistics and fulfillment. Compliance and due diligence. Now, I can't stress enough the importance of doing due diligence on trade and service partners and also compliance. When the new CBEC or cross-border e-commerce policy changes were announced, I think late last year in November, we worked with internal and external solicitors to ensure that we were 100% compliant to doing on customs policy across all sales channels. This was also extended to doing a full due diligence on our trade and service partners, ensuring that their systems are fully connected to customs. We continue to keep abreast of changes in the CBEC space and also communicate this to our intermediaries where possible. It's also important to have the right support functions and teams internally to be successful. IT, procurement, finance, legal. So these are some of the areas that we have dedicated export personnel within Woolworths to help support us for the export group. Building multiple sales channels. So New Zealand large buying group Daigou, the B2B market and B2C JD channels are the three main channels we have in China at this stage. They're all low-risk channels that we operate in, and our trade partner also plays a key role in the ecosystem over here. We could possibly add a couple more sales channels in future, but we'll need to ensure we retain control of our brand and make sure we're 100% compliant. Last but not least, the Daigou relationships. So we started with small Daigous a couple of years ago, but our business model has now evolved to focus purely on large buying group Daigou, who mainly place orders for milk powder, supplements, skin care, and infant formula. As Marco mentioned in his video earlier, sometimes it takes years to build these relationships with Daigou and also Chinese trade partners. It's very important to know that. Okay, so partnership, key brands in our own brand range. So here are some of the key brands that we export for cross-border e-commerce and general trade. As you can see, some of the big brands for infant formula and milk powder are A2 Milk Company, Nutricia, Fonterra. Some of the iconic New Zealand brands are Rogal's, Manuka Health, Mrs. Rogers. These are just some of the brands. We haven't covered everything here. But I also wanted to touch on Woolworths' own brands on the right-hand side. So Woolworths' own brands are important because they are our point of difference. Right? So Woolworths' private label products are seeing strong interest on platforms like JD and Kaola. As a leading retailer, the aim is to be competitive not only on price, but also to build a trusted and reliable consumer brand in China. As we build recognizable private labels, we will likely extend these to more categories in the future. Woolworths quality assurance means all of our suppliers have to meet strict auditing processes and quality standards. If suppliers see an opportunity to get your brand up here, or if Chinese-based buyers see an opportunity in wholesaling a private label range, you should certainly come talk to us. So, what are the key questions you'll need to work through for e-commerce success in China? So what will your business model look like? you have the right team, the skill set, the capabilities in New Zealand and China on the ground, priority channels to market. What is the right product to lead with? What will your target customers be familiar with New Zealand-made products to build your brand? Also, what is your growth ambition for the next 2, 3, 5 years? What investment will you require? And will you need to enter into a strategic partnership to mitigate the risks over there? What is your go-to market strategy to achieve this ambition? Example, channel coverage, key account management, supply chain. How will you measure success? Also, what level of due diligence should you need to do to bring on board credible trade and service partners in China? So these are all the things you need to think about if you're entering the market. Now, leading the world in mobile payments. So I'd like to leave you with this picture I took during one of my recent trips in Shanghai, China. I'll give it a minute away. Some of you might know where this is exactly. Any guesses? Any guesses? This is, I heard someone say Jing'an Temple. Hold on. I don't have a wine bottle, sorry, to give you. But no, this is at the Jing'an Temple. So the famous Jing'an Temple was originally built in 247 BC. What fascinated me about this jumbo-sized letterbox over here, that it's actually a vending machine where you can purchase joss sticks or incense sticks to pray. By simply scanning the QR code with your phone, you can order different quantities of joss sticks and make payments via WeChat Pay or Alipay. But for me, it's just fascinating. And I've also learned that the average person in China unlocks their smartphone about 150 times a day. I know some of you are guilty of that. You guys are. But all this suggests to me that a much higher percentage of customers will use their smartphones in the future to browse and purchase products on online e-commerce platforms. Thank you. 谢谢你。